Welcome to the Rafina Excel VBA Developer Series. Variables in Excel Explained, the foundation of every VBA project. Imagine trying to build a payroll system without remembering employee salary, or creating a school management system without remembering student names, or even building a point of sale application without remembering product prices. This sounds impossible, right? Well, that's exactly the problem variables solve. Variables are one of the most important concepts in programming, and if you are serious about learning Excel VBA as a development language, understanding variable is not optional. In fact, every Excel VBA application you've ever seen, from simple calculators to full business systems, depend heavily on variables. Today we are going to learn what variables are, why they exist, how they work, and how professional VBA developers use them every day. Let's get started. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Raphael, and on this channel we learn how to transform Excel from a simple spreadsheet application into a powerful software development platform. Many people learn VBA by copying code from the internet, but if you truly want to build professional applications such as school management system, payroll systems, inventory systems, staff attendance systems, or a point of sale application, then you need to understand the building blocks of programming. And one of the first building blocks every developer learns is variables. Today we will learn what a variable is, why variables are important, how to create variables, how VBA stores information, common beginner mistakes, and best practices by professional developers. Let's start with a simple question. Imagine I give you a box. That box has a label attached to it, and the label says employee name. Now you place an employee, John Smith, into the box. The label stays the same, and the box also stays the same, but only the content changes. The next day, you remove John Smith from the box and replace it with another employee, Mary Johnson. Still, the box remains, only the value inside it changes. That's exactly what a variable is. A variable is simply a name storage location in a computer memory. It allows VBA to temporarily remember information while your program is running. Think of variables as a container for data. Why do we need variables? Many beginners ask, why can't I just write the values directly in my code? Let's look at an example. Imagine you are building a payroll system and employee salary is 5,000, tax is 500, and bonus is 300. If these values appear everywhere in your code, updating them becomes difficult. Instead, we will use variables, and we will declare this: dim salary as double, dim tax as double, dim bonus as double. Now our code becomes easier to read and manage. The program remembers the values for us all the time. This is how professional software is built. Let's now learn to create our first variable. Let's insert a module and write private sub variables. In declaring variables, we use the keyword dim, and dim stands for dimension. Student name as string. Dim creates a bigger variable container for us. Let's take it as our box, and student name is the variable label that allocates a particular storage place. String stands for the data type that will store in the bigger container. So we have just created a container capable of storing text. Now let's store a value inside the container. So we would say student name will be equal to Raphael, and let's display it. MSG box should be student name. Now let's run the application to see the result. We will click on run. The application returns Raphael as the output. This means that the value is stored in memory and can be used throughout the program. Let's take a look at variables in a real-life situation. Assuming we are building a school management system, and we declare the following variables: dim student name as string, dim student class as string, also dim student age as integer. With this, we have created a container that will contain the student information. After that, we store the student information as student name will be equal to John Doe, student class will be equal to grade 10, and student age will be equal to 15. With this, our application can remember these values and use them whenever needed. That's exactly how professional systems manage information. Common data types that you are likely to come across. Not all information is the same. Some data is text, some data is numbers, some data is dates, and so on. VBA uses data types to handle different kinds of information. For example, string is used to store text, and we declare it as dim customer name as string. This will take data types such as Raphael, school manager, product A, and etc. Integer data type stores whole numbers. We would use it in this way, dim quantity as integer. Examples of integer are 10, 50, 100, and others. Double data type is used to store decimal numbers. We declare it in this way, dim price as double. The kind of data type it will handle is 25.50, 199.99, 15,000.75, and others. On the other hand, date is used to store dates and times, and we will say dim payment date as date. Also, you might come across the Boolean type of, and this returns only two values. When declaring it, dim is admin as Boolean. The possible values that it will store are true or false. Let's look at how VBA uses variables behind the scene. When VBA runs your code, it allocates memory. Imagine memory as a giant warehouse, where every variable gets a storage location. For example, dim product name as string. This way, VBA reserves a place for product name. We will then set product name as laptop. Now, the word laptop will be stored inside that location. And whenever VBA sees the product name, it retrieves the value from memory. This is why variable makes programming possible. Without them, your application wouldn't be able to remember anything. Let's look at mistakes beginners make all the time. Mistake 1. Poor variable names. Sometimes beginners will say dim A as string. On the other hand, it is a good practice for you to say dim customer name as string. Your variable name should describe what it stores. Using the wrong data type. It is bad for you to say dim salary as string. Salary is number, not text. The better way for you to declare it is dim salary as double, forgetting to assign values. Sometimes we will say dim total amount as double. Then we would immediately print out total amount. In this case, total amount will be 0 because no value was assigned to total amount. Let's take a look at this real-world example from Rafina systems. Let's imagine we are building Rafina POS. We would say that dim product name as string, dim unit price as double, dim quantity as integer, dim total amount as double. We will then assign these values and say product name will be laptop, the unit price will be 1,500, and quantity is 2. To get the total amount, we will just have to multiply the unit price and quantity together. Now VBA remembers everything: the product, the price, the quantity, and the total. Without variables, this would have been impossible. That's exactly how business applications manage information behind the scenes. Professional development tips. Professional developers treat variables like documentation. A good variable name should tell a story. Instead of saying dim X as double, use dim monthly salary as double. 6 months later, you will immediately understand your code. This becomes even more important as your project grows. Now that you understand variables, you are ready for the next big concept, that is data types. Because choosing the correct data type can dramatically improve performance, reduce memory usage, and prevent many common VBA errors. Understanding variables first makes learning data types much easier. Today, you've learned what variables are, why variables exist, how VBA stores information, how to create variables, common data types, common mistakes to avoid, and professional naming practices. Variables are the foundation of every VBA project, every payroll system, every school management system, every POS application, every dashboard. Everything starts with variable. Master this concept and you'll be taking your first real step toward becoming an Excel VBA developer. If you found this tutorial helpful, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe for more Excel VBA development tutorials, and in the comment below, answer this question: If you are building a school management system, what variables would you create first? Thank you for watching and see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.